All right. What about now? Can you guys hear me now? Let me know if we are all good. All right. Nice, 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 nice. Woo. All right. We had a rough start there. Glad to know we are back. You got jokes, Stuart. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's always a pleasure to see you here. I lost for words. Well, these markets have me lost for words. Yesterday I was FOMOing in, so maybe that's why. I don't know. We're definitely not gonna do that today. But welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, Stuart, Butterkeeper. How are we doing? We have uh I don't want to mess this up there. Sometimes it's tricky with the username, but Harry Krishnan 614. I hope I got this right. I think you can hear me now, so we are good. All right, Butterkeeper says loud and clear, and we have online prop firm. Okay, hello, online prop firm, saying third time lucky. Yes, third time is the charm. We got to keep trying, keep trying. I'm not sure what happened there. I think my microphone cable was not correctly connected, and I had to reset it for some reason. But all good, all good, all good. We are gonna get into these markets and see what we can get into today. And yeah, hopefully we get some good setups. Actually, speaking of setups, I had a beautiful setup yesterday and I took the trade. I'm actually gonna do a video. I recorded this trade and I'm gonna do a video. I hope you guys will forgive me. I took this trade on the live trading account and I wasn't live, but I did record it. So I have proof. This way you'll see it. I know I say I traded, I only trade this account live, but I was kind of really annoyed. I have to say, I went through this, kind of psychological battle yesterday because I was like, man, you FOMO'd in the trade. I know it happens to everyone, it happens to every trader, but that felt really bad. I'm here to, um, show proper disciplined trading, which I think I've been doing for the past couple of weeks. And then yesterday I gave in. My old bad habits kicked in. I missed the shorts twice and then I FOMO'd in and I FOMO'd at exactly the wrong time. So wasn't too happy about that. Wasn't too happy about the drawdown on the account because I've been green for the past 2 weeks. And when I saw this setup yesterday afternoon, I was like, huh, you know what? I'm gonna just take this trade and record it, and I'll show it to you guys soon. We'll make a video about it. This way, for beginners, it'll be a great course to see how you could trade after we've had a sorry, a para. I'm lost for words, Stuart. We've how to trade after we've had a parabolic run. So actually, since we're on the topic, let me show you which trade I took. Let's zoom in. It was on my favorite asset to trade, the Qs. I still have it highlighted there. We'll drop down to a 1 minute chart. And this was the trade right there. It was beautiful. And we had an insane reversal after that. So it was good. So yesterday in the afternoon, around 3 o'clock, we had the asset run up. So we moved up for about an hour, right? So moved up here, clear structure, impulse, pullback, second impulse. Then we had a rejection over VWAP. You could see this huge candle move there. And on top of that, the signal we're having is we saw increased volume, both there, signaling a possible exhaustion, and there. We had sideways consolidation. We tried to push up and we started getting rejection wicks there and there. And on that break right there, that's where I entered my first short. And of course, I like when it's a break and retest. So we broke, We went up, we got the retest where I have my little circle there. It was right inside that box. For my fair value gap, guys, this box is showing the fair value gap, which is probably why it was, being shorted intensely right there. I added my second short, and then I had three observations. First of all, we had the hey, I see somebody in the house. Give me 1 second, guys. I hear the doorbell ring. And Steve is in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, Dave. Doing all right. How are you doing yourself there?
Doing good, doing good, doing good. I was just showing the viewers a trade I took yesterday afternoon. I have to say, I FOMO'd into a trade yesterday morning, before Jane came on, and I was feeling bad about it because I was like, man, I'm supposed to be showing you guys how to trade properly, and here I am FOMOing into a trade. Went into a little bit of a drawdown, after a green 2 week streak. So I was telling everybody I only trade this account live, but I kind of cheated yesterday. I recorded it, so I'll be making a video on the trade, but I was just showing which trade I took. And, it's a good example on how to trade after a parabolic move, but right before another parabolic move. So that's what I was getting into right there. So, yeah, let me just quickly run through this and we'll get into the stuff. How you been?
Oh, doing great. I'm looking forward to this trade, though. I'm already seeing the setup here. Looks like you
Oh,
managed it well, so I'm here. I'm excited to hear the tale.
yeah. So yeah, classic break of trend line retest. So yeah, we had like I was saying, the exhaustion here on volume above VWAP, move down with volume. We broke, so I entered my first short there and waited for the retest. Added, I was saying how we had, for the guys that like fair value gaps, a fair value gap here. Um, this term has become increasingly popular, and then entered my second lot there. And then I was watching how we were going to react to this level. And we pushed down, pretty nicely. My first take profit was there. And this kind of had me a little nervous because I
Mhm.
saw, a little, buying there. And you'll see it on the video. Then it took the first out there, and then I got out a little prematurely. My take profit was lower, but I didn't want to get a deep pullback there. I was conscious that it was going to be 4 o'clock. We were going to see increased volume, so got out a little early. I was trailing my stop as well. And then, well, funny enough, we had this huge. I can't call this one a god candle because I've been calling this one a god candle.
Yeah, fair.
This one is, I don't know. We have to find another name. Thanos candle, maybe. I don't know.
There you go.
So yeah, so yeah, that was a trade. Very nice setup. So we'll see what we can get into today. How you doing, Steve? Tell me, how's
Doing
the trading been going?
doing pretty good. The trading has been, pardon me there.
Are you fine?
Of course, you got to cough the second you're ready to talk. So yeah, trading's been good. I would say that yesterday was frustrating for me because I was expecting us to get that bigger move a little bit sooner. And
Yep.
we just it makes sense. We needed to digest that God candle that you spoke of, and it took a while. It took a while, made us work for it. If you were on the long side, I was looking for that long in the first part of the day, and I had to take scalps. Right, they weren't
Yep.
playing out too much. And then the move that I was looking for, it happened after hours, after it had kind of worn me out of even looking long for the day. So I
Yeah,
was thinking, all right, it's going to
that's
happen tomorrow. We'll wait. Always right after hours, huh?
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's been good, and I think that there's going to be a lot of volatility, regardless of whether we do catch at the 200 day or not. I think that there's that potential in this negative gamma environment where even if we get over it and start acting bullish, we can get that volatility to the upside and see that squeeze kind of take place.
Indeed.
I'm also very open to a rejection of the 200 day. Being I like playing downside in general. It's a little spicy. It's a little more fun. So I'd
It
like to.
is.
I'd like to see 660, hit that head bonk onto this 200 day and then really start cooking down. I see you have those trend lines there that I've got as well, so I'm wondering if it holds on to those uptrend lines or maybe needs to
Well,
take a little bath.
we'll see, because this setup is looking pretty similar to what I had yesterday. So
Hmm.
we'll see. It's interesting that you mentioned that you like the downside. So I have to say, when I first started trading, I was terrified of shorting. I traded for a couple years before I ever taking my first short, and now I can't get enough, because what I like is that you are, first of all, the moves are faster.
Hmm.
I tend to be impatient, and second of all, I don't know. I could see clear targets, which on breakouts, for example, to the upside, when you don't have previous levels, it's kind of hard for me to determine. Okay, where do I get out? Am I
Hmm.
measuring moves, especially when you're scalping and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So yeah, shorting and trading to the downside is always fun and spicy, like you're saying. Um,
absolutely.
so yeah, you're mentioning that 200-day moving average. So let me just pull up my trading view there. Oh, let's connect back. Okay, I got my tick
There's a
chart
chart.
there. Yeah. How do you trade that, huh?
Chart there?
That's the tick chart I have
Ah, yeah,
on.
okay.
Let's look at those spies, and let's add a 200. Let's see. This is a
I was like,
200.
whoa, are we that far away from it? Where have I
No, no,
been?
no, no, no. It's a
Yeah,
20. I just have to
yeah, I got
add.
you.
All right. There we go. So
So
these
it's
are
playing
the
footsies.
spies.
It's like, what's it gonna do? I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
I'll while I ramble here, I will get my chart ready as well. I got something interesting to show you when you do an overlay of the previous time we lost this 200. So for me,
Okay.
I really like overlays, and I'm trying to like get historical precedents for a situation if possible, if there is an analog, you know. And so
Yep.
just whenever it's been a long time since we've done a certain thing at a key level, I like to kind of just gauge what could potentially happen if we kind of play that trend out again a second time if they run it back. So that would be if we did get like a repeat of the April tariff stuff. That would look like a start of the rejection of that 200, and then we would just kind of have to really flush out before climbing
Yeah.
steeply. I'm
So
I'm not sure if that
we're talking
it's
about this area there, right?
exactly.
Yeah. That would, like you like to say, that would be spicy, very spicy. That would be hot and spicy.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to walk and chew gum at the same time. I think I just got my my stream working
Yeah.
here, so let me double check on that and see if I can pull it up for you, or if you can pull it up. I probably don't have
Yeah,
stream
I
connected.
think I'm ready for you. Let me just get that ready there, because we're playing producer here also in the background. So
Many hats.
many hats, many hats. And as if trading live wasn't hard enough. Let me see
It's
there. All right, we're good. Let me just move this up, guys. Bear with me 1 second. All right, Steve's screens is ready to go. Let me know if you want me to pull it up.
yeah, ready for you. Sorry to put you on the spot there, but
No, 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 no problem. 1 second. Let me mute this. All right, we're good.
great.
And you're
This
live.
is
Let me.
sorry. Okay,
No, I was
great.
gonna just attend to these comments really quick while you're going through. I see we got Jeremits in the house. I like to say hi to everybody. Hi, Jeremits. How you doing? We're
Great.
doing good, doing good. And we have Stuart, our loyal follower from Spain, saying recognizing and back to discipline. Nothing really lost. We all need checkpoints from time to time. Thank you. I
I love that.
appreciate it, Stuart. That's very nice to hear. Very, very nice to hear. And we got Scribble saying thanks for doing the live streams. I have to say, it is a pleasure for me to do these live streams. It is public accountability, and
Mhm.
public accountability has been helping my trading. So yeah, I have to literally put my money where my mouth is. So
I love it.
yeah, indeed. Let's get into those charts, Steve. Tell me.
All right. Yes, sir. All right, Dave. So we got a few things that I want to point out. I know it's a messy chart. This is a work in progress, just like me. Every day I'm working off of this thing.
No,
So
you're
what I
fine.
want to start with is just on the monthly, there's one thing that's really important to me. We are in kind of an extended channel that it is starting to potentially kind of lose this top overshoot look. Tried to break out once, needed to flush down to the bottom and set this
Mhm.
bottom line. Tried to break out again, failed again. You can see we've had three kind of squeeze attempts, or like I kind of call them like when the market's on rails and in this
Yep.
like algoing up mode. But then once that breaks, it takes a while, but you usually get a nice flush out to set the bottom of a year or two range. So
Yep.
we saw that in April here, the really nice wick down, and now moving on to the weekly. If we take the price action in the first green circle here, and we overlay what happened there when it lost the 200 day, you overlay it right here, and you'll see that where you flush out to, in theory, would be a retest of that tariff. I call it the taco tariff rally
A
reset. You
taco.
know, when
Yeah.
when we decided actually, okay, we're gonna pause these, and then we're gonna do all X, Y, and Z to undo all of this damage. Look,
Damage.
look how great the economy is. How about that? So I
Yep.
am. I'm not married to it, but I do have this on my chart because I think it would be really interesting if pulling into the daily here we did something similar where we kind of chopped back up for a few weeks playing games, deciding whether we're going to really back test and reject or not, or back test and reclaim. If we get that tap and then start to see a really big slide, I'm thinking that we could see roughly 600 and very worst case 560 to 580. I'm putting on my doomer hat just because hey, you never know. You
You
never know.
never know. You never know. And in percentage
Mhm.
terms, could you check what that would mean really quick, just so we have a
Absolutely.
reference for the futures? Because I am not disagreeing with you. I was let me see. That's about what 10
So
percent.
10% on the
Yeah.
money, right to that. I have a major trigger, this monthly support at 594. I'd call it 600, close enough.
Yep.
And then it would be about a 15 to 16% slide if we really fully washed out there to that trend line. But
Definitely.
the market doesn't have to make it nice and clean. I just, this is key on my radar is the downside contingency plan, you know?
Of course, of course, of course. But I think it is entirely possible to sound like Joe Rogan. Entirely possible that something like that could happen. And I have to say, we've been stepping down when we zoom out, especially on looking at the futures. Those on the ES, those that 7,000 level. I'm just gonna switching my screen really
Yeah,
quick
absolutely.
so we could see it. Give me just 1 second, guys. I'm slow this morning. Layers.
Coffee
All
still
right,
kicking
here
in.
I am. Yeah. Actually, I haven't had coffee. I was gonna have it and there was time to go live and I didn't have to make it. So I'll have to
Oh
do that in
no.
a few. I might have to run, make coffee, and come back.
It's
But
okay. Hold down the fort.
but yeah, so yeah, I have that 200 pulled up there. That's what the 200 looks like on the ES actually. And we could see that, we've been trying to break this $7,000. This is a daily chart, by the way, $7,000 level since October. And then we've been stepping down, stepping down, stepping down. So it's been, 100 points, 100 point hold every time. It was 7,000, then it was 6,900, then it was 6,800, and now we're all the way to the 6600s trying to hold it up. So what you're talking about is I think highly likely, especially with the whole backdrop of war uncertainty. 1 second we're destroying Iran, the next week we're talking about, hey, are we gonna negotiate and have talks? And I wouldn't be surprised if we get another tweet, another breaking news thing, and have another completely different news. So we'll see what happened there. But I think what that does to the markets, a war, the Fed decisions with those interest rates, the all the uncertainty going on, all it does is make markets trickle down.
Yeah, absolutely. And for I think you mentioned something really important that it's been kind of stair stepping its way down, right?
Yeah.
There hasn't been, despite the elevated VIX, there hasn't been a ton of real panic. Let me pull up VIX for you real quick there. The VIX a little
We
bit
were
a little
at
bit messy.
27
Take those
yesterday.
lines off.
No, you're fine.
Get rid of some of these paths that didn't quite play out, but we did get the ramp through this
Yep.
trend line. And now what I'm really looking for is just, I always say I as Sometimes I have good ideas, but I'm never as smart as my moving averages. I think that's a Kulamagi, however you say his name,
Oh,
quote.
really?
I
Cool.
love it. So
Yeah.
24 to 25 is this kind of regime where I would expect, if the market is going to, fake pop on this
Hmm.
ceasefire news or whatever it may be, and that doesn't actually play out, and the oil market stays really strong and holding that risk, that war risk premium, then I think that this is probably where we would catch. So let me do a little doodling for you. Put on my John Madden hat. So maybe something down like this, and then we
Yeah.
can get the
We can
break
spike up.
of, what am I doing? There it is. The break of this downtrend line, and then kind of just get a real spike, a real
Yeah.
quick spike to 40 to 50, and then we can get back to business going up. But
Oh,
it's so hard to play around these headlines. So I'm just watching oil like a hawk, and trying to keep in mind that the market, with this volatility in negative gamma, it can drop quite consistently. Or I'm sorry, it can rip quite far and still be in this overall downtrend. So right now we are trading about what, 658.50. So right at this kind of neckline of the previous day's open, we still have these three top wicks here. We put up
indeed.
a third top wick into this kind of blue level. For me, I love watching for rejections on third taps,
Hmm.
and then on the fourth, if it can get back up to that level. So on an hourly, if we can surge back, I've got to zoom way in. So we have 1, 2, 3 wicks up. If we do get the surge back through, I would be looking to buy the back test, because I would expect that a fourth move would be strong enough to get to some of these targets up here,
Okay.
663, 665, potentially sweeping this top wick of the god candle that you were talking about there.
Yeah,
That's
that's an
666.
847 point candle.
Wow, it's so crazy. And where did it top out? Right at our devil level, that 666.66, almost to
Oh
the penny.
man. Oh
It's
wow, that is crazy. Yeah.
It's a wild one. I don't know
That's a
why that
wild
one's so
one.
responsive, but it is. So I got to keep it
Wow.
on my charts.
Yeah, you got to keep it. I like that devil level note right there. That is very interesting indeed. Okay, I'm glad that you touched on oil, so we could take a look at it in a few. But yeah, I think it's just so much uncertainty. I don't see us, moving significantly upwards anytime soon.
Whoa.
At best, okay, market just opened.
Marcus trying to prove you wrong in 1 second.
Yeah,
No,
well,
but
hey, you could prove me wrong.
that's okay though.
It's fine.
We gotta expect a little bit of a pop here when the liquidity opens up. I'm really focused on, after the first 15 minutes, if we can get that follow through or not. So we
Nice.
are in a wait
Is
and see
the
mode.
Are these that there you go, wait and see mode. Are these volume bubbles I'm seeing there?
They are. So this is a
Nice.
cumulative data, or sorry, cumulative volume indicator, and I don't know how they programmed it like this. I got to reverse engineer because it's so cool. Some guy on TradingView did this, where it shows the actual size of the bubble on the chart, so it's very visually intuitive.
Nice.
So I'll, for example, see, okay, there's a lot of clusters of red, of selling, and then we
Uh-huh.
actually got a big candle of follow through. So then we got a little bit of a trend. But sometimes you'll see big clusters of selling and it doesn't. I'll check. I'll check
Reacting.
later. We might get it now where there's some selling occurring here, but so far we are just powering through and eating those sellers.
Indeed,
So often
indeed.
you can see it's a good visual representation of who's winning that buying and selling battle. So the
Man,
size of this circle depends on the size of the that order and how much strength it's getting through there.
that is a very I like that visual guide. It's making me think of book map and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Actually, I spent
Yeah.
the part of the weekend vibe coding because I
Nice.
have yeah, I know nothing of coding, but been using Claude to kind of so in my previous life, I was a designer and I worked in advertising. So, I'm a very visual person. So what I've been trying to do is try to translate, and I'll give you a quick preview in a few. Translate price, volume, and basically time in a three-dimensional way instead of looking at a 2D chart. And the idea there is, I don't know if you saw that video way back. There was this kid who was talking about the difference between a two-dimensional being and a three-dimensional being and saying how
Yeah, yeah.
4D. So with
I
that
love
same
it.
logic, I was like, okay, what if there was a way I could look at and we're moving up nicely
Yeah, we
here.
are. I'm watching that
Yeah,
660 handle as well as pre-market highs at 660.46. I can get some futures levels for you in a second
we're
here. I just
watching.
have all my
Yeah,
drawings
I'm
on
watching
here.
my charts also. So I'm ready to press that trigger.
Hmm.
But yeah. So with that same logic, I was like, hey, is there a way for us to see charts in a three-dimensional way, and maybe we'll kind of pick up on patterns that we wouldn't see just looking at the regular chart. So I've been working on that. And while I was working on it, early in the morning when the news came out, and it wasn't triggering, my strategy wasn't triggering. I was trying to figure out why, and that's how I was able to catch part of that God move. So
Nice.
yeah, it was a good thing. I'll give you a quick preview of what I'm working on in a sec.
I love it. Yeah,
Um,
that's it's so cool, isn't it? What we have the ability to take out of our heads and make into real stuff now.
Oh
It's blowing
man,
my mind.
it is awesome. It is awesome. What these things can do, it is awesome. All right, I'm seeing some comments coming in. We got Scribble saying, "Do you use a trailing stop loss for your trades, or do you let them go to TP or stop loss?" I have an answer for that, but I want you to take that one first, Steve, so they have a different opinion because I was talking about that yesterday.
Oh, real quick, just before we get into that, we are seeing a hard rejection off of that
Oh,
660.
indeed,
So
indeed.
let's see how it plays out. I want to give it a few candles. What I'd like to see is a fair value gap open with this impulse move down. Then I want to see a wick back up into the gap that's opened to provide a safer entry for a potential short. For if we do sweep the low and work our way down to the 657 hourly trigger. That's my target there. Okay, sorry.
Oh, you're
So the
fine.
question was on stop losses, I believe. Do I use a trailing stop for trades or do I let them go to take profit or stop? Is that the, did I
Yeah,
get
do
that
you
right?
let them
Oh,
go to take profit or
that's a
or
great
a stop
question.
loss?
So here's how I look at it. I only take a trade if my take profit makes sense compared to the logical stop loss, right? So I'm not going to take you know, a point 0.5 to 2 risk, zero point 0.5 reward
Yeah.
to 2 risk trade, for example. I will take a 1 to 1. A lot of people will say only take 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to
Mm,
1, 5. I think that's silly and you'll miss a lot of good looks. And we're here to
yeah.
make money, not you know, catch the holy grail ultimate trade bottom tick, like that's a little, I think that's like ego trading kind of, It's like let's
Indeed.
catch that 80%. Okay, so by the way, that little rejection, I can't there was no imbalance that opened up, so there's no trade for me yet. It still seems strong. And I'll be the first to say I'm looking short, and I might be wrong, and I might miss this long because of that. So I'd rather wait for confirmation on a play that I don't get than get
Yeah.
caught flat-footed and ripped on there. I also saw somebody mentioning, let's see, uh, it was the name of a similar indicator, which I'm going to check out. It was who is it? Yeah, Market Order Bubbles by Leviathan Capital. I'm going to check that out. But if anybody wanted to follow this script here, it's called Delta Bubbles by Experts. That's Experts EXP3 RTS V2. That's what it's called there. Just in case
Nice.
anybody wanted to use that
I'm gonna
there.
check it out.
Gotta love those vibe coders out there. We're
Indeed,
trying.
man. Indeed,
so
indeed. I'll
so
show you
that's a
what I was
very.
doing
Oh yeah, absolutely. Want to hear more?
no, I just want to give my take on that TP or stop loss. So this had been an internal battle of mine for a long time, also, and I found the solution, at least for me, for the way I trade. What I will do is, of course, I'll try to find a setup where I can at least get a 1 to 1 or you know,
Yeah,
1.5 to 1 risk
ooh,
reward. I'm not going to take a trade that's okay.
it's waking
We're
up.
moving up. We're moving up. We'll see if these shorts really keep it low or if we push lower. We're in a nice we've been consolidating sideways, but yeah, let
Yeah.
me let me talk about the question first. Yeah, so what I'll do is let's say I enter with two contracts, and that's what I did actually yesterday. Is I will have one target that is a set target, it is a fixed target, and I do not move anything
Mm.
until I reach this target on the first contract. I call that the payroll trade. So basically, it's the fixed trade. I'm just this we're doing business, and then I'll have the bonus. So there, once that take profit hits, the second contract that's left, then I'll usually move my stop to break even and trail that. So that's how, at least psychologically, I can deal with the fact that, okay, I got my first trade in, I got my profit in, and then we'll find out if I make some extra. So I got my a
Mhm.
1R return, and then we'll find out if I get more or not. Of course, you need to have, multiple contracts to do that, but
Right.
that is my solution for that. He's saying I attempted to use the trailing stop with MNQ. I risked 40 to make 80. Trailing stop gain triggered 20. Last buy is difference 9. And the last option I had 5 trail distance. I don't really get that one, but I mean, it's you kind of have to test things out and figure out what works for you. Everybody has
Mhm.
their method, but at the end of the day, it's whatever works for you. Oh, he says, but would stop me often, so stop using until I
Mm.
have better knowledge. Well,
So what I would say, if you don't mind, just there's
no,
a
go
few
ahead.
things that I've learned. So I primarily do trade MES over
Uh-huh.
MNQ, and for me that's because it's easier to control those stops. I
Indeed.
found that it's easier to have a set stop distance because you do need that, just the backstop, right? So
Yep.
I need that, and usually if I think that a stock, or I'm sorry, that the index that ES is bottoming, and I get involved within a few points of that bottoming area. I see a big liquidity level on Bookmap or something, for example. We trade out into it, start to kind of catch. I see what I think is a bottoming candle, pops a little, comes back down, forms a higher low. So that's kind of the bottoming setup I look for in general. If I
Mm-hmm.
get that, I can pretty safely put a 8 to 10 point stop on that, and then I would say about 80% of the time that stop is only going to trigger, and then the idea will fail. About 20% of the time I still get stop ran, I'd say. So I'm still dialing in a little bit, but 10 to 20%, that's like acceptable for me, I'd say,
Yep.
in terms of just needing to have that hard stop. But like you said, I like having multiple contracts so that I can essentially just be able to say, all right, here's the take profit, but if we get a really nice move real quick to halfway up, well, I'm going to take some off, because you know what? I don't know what's going to happen. It could fail
Exactly.
halfway up. I want to walk
Exactly.
away with this trade for something because it's starting to go in my favor. So if I put some in my back pocket there, then we can really start to manage that last trade with these trailing stops. So for example, maybe not a flat trailing stop. As we do reach back under this 660, we will see if it's failing or not.
We'll see. We'll
We
see. We'll
shall
see.
see.
We're
Yeah, I'm
looking at
keeping an eye
it.
here on what we do in the next couple of minutes, 5 minutes here. Like I said, I
Look.
love these trades about 5 minutes before the. I'm sorry, 15 minutes before the hourly flip. So 15 minutes after the bell.
Okay, so we're about 5 minutes to go here, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, just to touch back on that because I think it's a very interesting topic. The other thing that I've mentioned is, well, and I'm glad Steve mentioned it, is trading. You're mentioning you're trading the Qs, and different assets move in different ways, and you really need to think about the average daily range or the average true range of these assets, and
Mhm.
base your stops on that, and base your stops on the type of trades you're taking. So if you're going to take a trade where you're only in it for 10 minutes and you're trading a 1 minute chart, then your stops could be tighter. if
Yeah.
you're if you're going to trade and hold the whole day, and you're going to take an intraday trade, then your stops need to be wider.
Yes.
um so
One
these
good
are all
thing.
considerations you need to make. Yes.
Sorry, just to tag in there, because I think you're hitting on all the key points there. What I think is really important is that your stop matches the type of setup. So if you're scalping, like you're saying, definitely smaller stop, especially if you're a momentum scalper. So
Indeed.
say out of the gate, you're like, in the first 30 seconds, you saw it push down. I'll zoom in for you. Push down just a tiny bit here, and then start to wick up. Maybe you saw it break this microstructure, or whatever reason for you, you were like, it's momentum going up. This is a
Hmm.
momentum long potentially. So
Hmm.
you tag in, say right here, you got to put your stop right under this candle, because the whole concept is, I'm jumping in with a momentum buyer. We don't know if they're here for 5 minutes. We don't know if they're here all day. We don't know if
Yep.
they're here for 15 minutes. What we do know is they're here right now. They're
Exactly.
here right now. We're getting in right now. You got to live in the moment, carpe diem, and it's about whether this buyer holds up. As long as this buyer's in, sure, okay. Now I'm nice and green. Stop goes to break even because if we revert this, we're going to heck in a handbasket. So it's then it would be a pop up and a rejection through that, and you could possibly be saying, all right, well, the scalper got their first 15-minute move, and now I can get my 15 minutes into the market pivot move for the bigger move. So
Exactly.
so if you're in that momentum trade from the start, you got to be willing to cut it real fast. And for
Yep.
me, I literally go, if I'm long here, I go, all right, the second I see a red candle, I'm out. So boom, 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 top wick, I'm getting nervous into the level. I probably take it right there, to be
Yeah,
honest. And
exactly.
if we get this candle, then I'm saying, all right, now either I'm playing momentum and we got to hold this 9 moving average, and then we get this big candle and I'm definitely out there,
Hmm.
or we lose this very fast and I take the break even stop and I do not hesitate, because if it sweeps through there, it can powerhouse down. And we are starting to see potentially a little
We
bit of
are.
weakness here. I'm still not rushing into this. Now I want to see the same thing, an imbalance open up here, nice imbalance, and then a wick back into it and a little sign of weakness into the moving averages to get a little short here. But did you see all these red circles just blasting my screen?
Yeah, I'm seeing
There's a
it. I'm
seller
seeing
here.
it. There
There's
is
a seller
definitely
here.
a seller. They're holding it. If we look at the level, at least on the Qs, that
Oh
is
yeah.
right below 24,500, which is a pretty key significant number.
Sorry, this is 10 minutes away
So
on
oh,
this one here.
you're
Apologies.
fine. You're fine. You're
You're welcome
fine.
to pull the screen if you need it as well.
Yeah, I could pull up mine so we can look. Give me 1 second.
Ooh, all right, back
All
to
right.
VWAP here. So this is the or the breakdown candle that I like to see. Now, if we get a wick back up into it, I can get a little bit short.
Yep. We're thinking the same here, so we'll see what happens. Fortunately, we won't be playing opposite sides of the market like the other day.
That's all
Um,
right.
but
And
hey,
full disclosure, like it was showing weakness up above the 660. I could have taken a play there with a stop over the high, and now I might
yep.
miss this one too here. But it's I hedged yesterday roughly ish high of day before obviously after hours. So that's red. It probably going to be red for a while. But I do have a little position short at the very least.
Okay, that's
At
good.
the
That's
very
good.
least.
That's good. At the
I'm
very
I'm hoping
least.
because this is a big move that I'm missing. What
Yes,
are that?
indeed.
Look at that
Uh,
expansion.
we're looking at nice expansion there. Let's just look point term in terms of points. How much is that? It's about 80, about 80 points. So that's looking good. That's looking nice. Let's
Mhm.
see if we can maybe we get a push down and a reversal, like a retest of
Yep.
this area here. I usually like, okay, we're the 15 minutes in. So for my opening range traders, let me draw. I always draw the box for people to see. Let me see. I know we got opening range breakout traders. So our opening range would be, where is it? 930, right there. This is a low. So we're still within the range. Let me make sure. And yes, and our range was exactly 102 points. So nice, nice little displacement there. Um, so we'll see how this plays out and where we can enter. On the 1 minute chart, we got a nice little, double top rejection here.
Mhm.
So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, we can get a nice, decent short entry. Looks
It'd
like
be
it's
nice,
running
right?
away. It would. It would. Hopefully, it
There,
doesn't
there,
run away
this
from
is
us.
pretty aggressive with this pop and drop, which makes me think there's
Indeed.
some meat on this short, which makes me want to tag in. I'd love a pop up to VWAP here. I think that would be fair.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me just zoom out a little bit. So on the 15 minute, we got a nice, this is a look at this wick there. It's really nice. We've been wicking all morning. So yeah, we'll be patient on this one because we might, these days you could just
You can just
we
rip
could
right
just
back on
rip
up.
right back up and get a squeeze just like we saw yesterday afternoon. So we're gonna
Yeah,
be
in general,
patient.
this feels quite bearish to me, I gotta
It
say, and
does, it
there's
does, it
continuation
does,
so far.
it
I
does.
mean, because this is pretty picture perfect for Bears. I'm a little sad I didn't just take the play over 660, but I got trust issues. What can I say?
You got
So
trust
now
issues.
we'll see where we're going here.
we'll see where we're going. Yeah, we're almost there. We'll see. I'll probably wait for 10 o'clock now because we're 10 minutes from there.
Yeah,
But we
yeah,
might get a lot of displacement. Anyways, I wanted to touch on oil real quick. Let's take a quick look at what's going on over there in
yeah,
the
definitely.
commodities world. Give me just one sec. Let's look at this on a daily chart. All right. So, very big move down the other day, of course, on that announcement. We had, we were testing those $100 levels, kind of peaked above and then pushed way back down on around the 84 level, which is close to that pocket that we had there once we had the rejection of the 119 level. And now we're kind of moving sideways again, probably wait and see mode for
Mhm.
oil. But since you guys know we're inversely correlated, as oil pushes down, equities will push up. And since we're talking about commodities, did you check out gold?
I don't know what to do with it, man. I don't know what to do with it. I'm waiting for a signal. It's just kind of it's hanging out. I don't know. How do you
Yeah.
feel about it?
It's interesting. I didn't think we were gonna get such a significant. Let me put this on a daily chart and actually want to look at it on TradingView. Give me a sec. Um, this is look at how we touched that 200 day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um,
So
yeah, I mean,
I
wow. Just
didn't
ding.
think.
I didn't
Look,
even notice that, man.
yeah, it's when we were here, right? When we were, um, so when the conflict started, you see, I
Mhm.
have my big note. Epic Fury starts here. Um,
Love it.
we had a 400 point down move back into what I call the inflection zone. So for me, inflection is okay as long as we stay above this, we're bullish, kind of like a VWAP. So 5100 was that level for me, and we had sideways consolidation. So wait and see mode going on there. But I really did not expect such a sell off there.
Hmm.
Be past this when we had this blow off top there. I didn't expect it to happen so fast. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
what's going on there? Are people being margin called? Is this money managers, getting out and putting money aside to redeploy? Because if money's
Wow. Look at
getting
this
out
chart.
of gold, it's going.
Mhm. It's just
Oof.
dropping, man. There's nothing catching it, man. So I
When
guess
you
this is
don't
one of those.
FOMO in, it follows through. When you do FOMO
Yep.
in, you short the bottom.
I was
Anyways,
gonna say this is the rules. This is the rules. If I
uh,
had hammered that, we would have gotten 2 points in reversal. So I'm sorry, guys. I think I killed the market by not shorting. So away
oh
she
man,
goes.
yeah. Let's see. We're all right. Hopefully, we could
Sorry, just
get.
managing. Just
No, it's
making
fine.
sure.
Do what you got to
I
do.
gotta
Do
make
what you
sure I'm
got to
out of some
do.
other positions.
Do what you got to do. I'm just looking at it go and leave me there.
I
But
know
yeah,
it's hard. Oh
yeah.
my goodness, look at it drop.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'll have to wait. Increase volume. We'll probably get. Maybe I should try and catch a reversal.
yeah,
But
I'm looking for a potential sweep of that pre-market low, and then it could catch before though. I wanted 650 650. Of course, this is for a hedge now. It's like, do I even monetize the hedge? I probably just hold on. But if I was in this short, which
we're
doesn't
not.
feel like I really am. But that's what I would potentially be looking for. You could see the reversal here. I would like to see it earlier or
Let's
later,
see.
but
Let me take a
maybe I'm
quick
wrong.
look. I'm looking at different assets because sometimes when I miss it on one, I take it on the other one. I'm looking
Yeah,
at
yeah,
the
I like that.
Dow. No, Dow is not looking. Wow. Move on the Dow is already down 300 points, so nothing to
Crazy.
do there. The ES is down. It's probably 20. Oh man, 40 point. Man,
I know. That's a
the average daily range of the ES used to be 40 points. Now we're getting 40 points in less than 10 minutes.
that's what I'm saying. Everybody
Um,
was so like FOMO depressed bullish yesterday, like I missed it. I can't chase. I'm like, I'm not chasing. I might have missed it, but I'm not chasing because
yeah, we're not
you can
chasing.
get a 1.5% rally in the midst of a downtrend,
Yep.
And that's how you lure in that liquidity to push lower. which is what we are still seeing. So no buy signal for me yet at 650, which is 50 cents down on SPY. So call it probably what, 5 points on ES. I'll double check on that. That is going to be my
Yeah.
hourly trigger there. And that's where I would monetize if I had some short dated puts or some like zero DTEs here
Yeah.
or futures. I forgot this is a futures stream.
This is a future stream, but we talk about everything here. We don't
I love it.
discriminate. We don't
It's
discriminate.
it's so great because you know what? It's good to have access to different instruments. Although I will say futures by far the most well rounded. You can't go wrong.
Yep.
Let's see if these little tiny bottom wicks actually hold a decent bid here or not.
Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. But funny enough, this morning I was like, this looks like a similar setup to yesterday. And I was thinking short, but hesitated there.
I know I hesitated over 660, and that's the thing. They gave us all night to be like, I was like angry, thinking like after that candle, like, all right, where am I gonna short? Where am I gonna short? And it
Yeah,
was
this
that
one there.
200 over 660.
Yep. Yep.
All right, now it's gonna try to
All
go.
right. We're getting some buying there. Let me see if I could get in a quick scalp there. But we might just push lower. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm hesitant to I'm holding all of my hedges still. I just
Okay.
don't trust like that.
We'll see
So
what
on a
happens.
pop, if it's a decent pop, I might try to get short, but I don't know if I'll catch it to be honest here.
I just went long there to see if I could get a momentum move up, just to get that itch out of my system. And if I hit a loss, it'll calm me down.
I
So,
respect that, you know. I honestly I don't know if you're joking, but to me that makes 100% sense because like you know
no,
what,
it's true.
sometimes you
I'm
gotta take a
being
shot.
no,
Yeah,
I'm being honest.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
been
I
itching,
love it.
itching, 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 and then we'll just, if it stops me out, then I'm like, all right, now why did I go long there? Well, I didn't want to FOMO in short, but
Mhm.
probably would have made more sense. So the logic behind this trade was what? We moved down. We had a huge increasing volume, a higher volume bar, higher than everything else. We're coming closer to my actual buy level there, and we saw some buying there. So I thought we were recovering and that we could get a quick push up to VWAP, but I'm probably too early. So we'll see what happens there.
Hey, I mean it can go one of two ways, right? Either we're at the bottom of the range, and that could have been the snipe, right? Because we saw
Yep.
a bit attempt there, right? So
Hmm.
to me, it's not that I like this is where I like saying like, hey, if I take a trade and I'm wrong, I'm paying for information, right? So we're paying
Exactly.
for the information that this is not a good support level yet. Maybe it can reclaim and become one, but as of now, still selling. And for me, I'm looking for a sweep now and for continuation downwards. We'll see if we get it, but to me, it looks very heavy into this pre-market low from the hour before the market opened.
Yep.
So, oh, and it looks like we lost that on NQ. So that's another sign of weakness there.
Yeah, we did lose it on NQ, that pre-market low there around 8:30.
Mhm.
But we'll see if they can really step in or if they're going to push it lower. But me,
We,
this
we
is more a feeler trade to get my mind right, psychology right. And we'll see what happens.
we
If we
could
get
both
a
be right here too. You could get your move and off of the liquidity reach, pardon me, on NQ, right? So NQ came
uh-huh,
down, they swept the low. So there's stops triggered there, and there's an
they
influx of
did.
liquidity, and that can kind of rise both tides. And then spy sellers can say, hey, but I still want to get my target down there. So now I'll step back in and push them both down once more. We could see some of that kind of interplay there. But right now,
Yep.
this is the hourly trigger for my system here. Call it 2 points under low a day there. So it's playing nice. If it held, I wouldn't be too mad. I wouldn't be too mad because it means my system it's respecting my system. And so that's the other thing. Like some days my system doesn't work, or some weeks my system doesn't work very well. And I'm just always looking for little signs of whether the system I usually trade is going to be applicable here or whether I need to chill. And like you said, get clarity from my trade not working.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing how, getting those feeler trades in and then getting information by being stopped out clears your mind. It makes you really slow down and wait for an actual level or setup that makes more sense. But
I love that.
we'll see what happens there.
So yeah, we are overextended to the downside. So a little pop could give us an opportunity to short. Um, I would feel better about shorting a pop if we got that tick low on SPY as well. Just kind of like that confirmation, or a little more confluence in the fact
Mhm.
that this buying level is not as strong as the buyers may want to front here and pretend like it is.
We will see what happens. Let's look at a quick look at the ES now. Yeah, buyers are really getting overrun there. So we're not sure 100% that we're going to get that level. We have storage saying NQ bouncing off that Camarilla level. So yeah,
Oh yeah.
I think I have my pivots there, so I could pull
I,
them
I
up. We
was
could see.
I was just gonna bring it up on my screen. It says
Oh,
bulls
let's
shall not pass. Right where we are
really.
at. So we popped above it. They did pass, and then bears stepped in. So now this is where I would like to see, like I was saying, it's either going to hold this range or it's going back to yesterday's. And that means
Indeed,
that we can
indeed.
test that 650.
We'll see what happens. But we did have a little bounce there. Not a huge move considering only 40 points on Qs. But we'll see what happens. Anything can happen.
Yes.
This is definitely a trade I would not hold for too long because ideally I would be looking for a short entry. So just to answer the question we had earlier from Scribble, this is one where I probably be targeting a one-to-one, maybe a retest to that VWAP there, the low of the opening range. So let's see, one-to-one, that's about points.
Still seeing sellers here.
We're seeing sellers, yeah, 50 points. So yeah, we had
What
a look up, push down.
what I do want to emphasize here, we are in smack dab in the middle of that God candle range. So I have a bias. It's
So
clear
do
what my
I.
bias is, but I could be so wrong. And trading in the middle of the range, it's always riskier than like that the move up top where we had the 660 level and it rejected. That was a lot cleaner than this, but it is still looking heavy to me.
It is looking definitely very heavy. The idea there was okay. Let's see if we can get a quick bounce, bag some profit, and have more to deploy once we really get that down move.
Yes,
But
sir,
yeah,
absolutely.
10 o'clock is gonna hit, and we're probably gonna have a nice reaction there. And if we get stopped out, then we'll find a second entry.
So you're bringing up a good point here about the hourly is about to flip and lock in this really ugly candle. It's a really gnarly hourly candle for SPY there, or for
Yep.
ES SPY, any your instrument of choice. Yeah, pick
Either
one. It's
or.
not looking great.
Pick one. Yeah, pick one.
So I would really like to see the next fib level down for me is about a dollar on SPY. So about what call it? Was that about 10 points on ES? So I gotta recalibrate into futures mindset here.
No, you're fine. You're
All my
fine.
guys
All
in my
right.
server mostly trade SPY or SPX, so that's where my head's at in numbers. But the ES, it's so easier to catch a little piece. It's so much easier. So I'm really trying to get back into that.
Indeed. Yep, we tagged those 638, 637s, and I'm stopped out. All right.
Hey, but we learned something, and you know what? You're taking a
We
good
did.
stop because it's not turning around yet.
It is
You
not. It is not.
don't want to be praying here. Don't want
No,
to be
no,
praying.
no. We're good. We got the information we needed. We've confirmed that okay, we are definitely going to continue pushing lower for the foreseeable future. So we'll see. Um,
That's a small bounce off the 6.2 fib of this range, but just because it's showing something doesn't mean that I'm ready to buy. That's for sure. I would maybe be trimming my shorts if I did take the
yeah,
660 play
exactly.
though.
That would have been a good place to trim the shorts. So
Yeah,
let's
so
see, low
I'm hanging
volume
out.
mode on the volume profile there. Yep, we're hanging out, we're waiting. We're gonna wait for better entries to see what we can take live. While this is churning, let me go back to we were talking about gold and then we kind of went into this. There we go. It's probably gonna be the bounce I was looking for now.
That they had to get you out in particular. Sometimes it feels personal. I
Yeah, sometimes it
I'm
does.
I'm gonna reserve. That's how it felt yesterday, by the way, because I held my short through that afternoon pop,
Uh-huh.
And then I was like feeling really good about the close. Like, all right, good job not panicking, reading the chart. It didn't violate your setup. So well played holding. And I literally turned around 2 minutes later and I see the 2% move. I'm like,
What's going on? Yep.
just run me over, God. I'm done. But you hit that. You feel sorry for yourself for about 5 minutes, then you laugh for about five
Yeah.
minutes, and then you go about your day, and it's a new day. And
Yep.
that's the thing. What I did is I used that as fuel. I said, all right, I could either get annoyed about that. All right, I'm not gonna lie. I am annoyed about that. I can use that as fuel, though. I can say, all right, where are these sons of guns going to take this to sell
Yep.
it next? Where would I sell it if I just bought this? I'd
Exactly.
sell it at 660, over 660 tomorrow morning, and then I'd get short again.
Let's
So
recalibrate.
it's
Yeah, exactly.
recalibrating, baby.
Yep.
So we got a decent green candle here, but what I'm seeing is this is essentially a little overshoot of a retest of that low of the range. I need to see strong engulfs back up over those couple top wicks, and back over your channel there, into your channel there, for me to
Yeah,
feel
exactly.
bullish.
Back,
And
back. Yep.
even then, that would be like the sign that I'd be looking for a bottom. Then I'd be looking for a higher low. So
Exactly.
I'm not ready. Well, all I'm seeing now is 1 minute oscillators were oversold. Somebody stepped in and said, "Come on, it's already
Somebody,
dead."
yeah, somebody stepped in and said, let's see what happens there. But I like what you said, laughing it off. I think it's good to laugh off those mistakes that we make, or when we
Mhm.
get run over, because when you're taking it too personally, it's not ideal for trading.
Yeah,
So yeah, laughing it off is a good is a good thing.
absolutely. And also just having some positions. I know maybe this is a little off the mark for if everybody in here is intraday primarily or only, but having some stuff cooking on the other side of the tape. And by that I mean,
Yeah,
if you're net long in your port, have a hedge, or maybe be a little quicker to look for those downside biases, in your intraday trading. So that,
indeed.
hey, if one thing's not working, say you're getting stopped out on your short-term stuff, well, at least my long-term port's feeling better. And
Exactly.
vice versa. So it keeps you from being too bullish or too bearish and putting too many eggs in one basket.
That is entirely true. Diversifying, hedging your bets. I think that definitely makes sense. Actually, what I'll do intraday, and maybe I'll have the opportunity to showcase it sometimes, is
Mhm.
I'll have a long idea, and I will short instead of going long, just to confirm my
Ooh,
bias. And then yeah,
ooh.
I do that sometimes.
Little
And
market offering to the gods. Take it. Take this
yeah,
one.
and then depending on what happens, let's say I'm long biased, but I want to get an extra confirmation, then I'll go short. And if it goes against me, then it's a check in my favor that, okay,
Yes.
the idea was correct, and then I'll flip long. So I do that sometimes.
I love
Hopefully,
like the mental checklist kind of thing. That's so cool because that's what I'm trying to quantify in the stuff that I'm vibe coding. I'm trying to take all these things that are gut feelings, like when
yeah,
something happens in a 1 minute or a 5 minute candle, and I'm trying to take that from a feeling in my gut that's like, something's
yeah,
funky, something's off, that you can't really quantify, into like, oh, it just failed this at this, or it's relatively weak, or it's there's a big seller institutionally or something. So I'm trying to get all of these data points into like one little thing. So maybe someday, but
maybe someday it's gonna be tricky. But speaking of coding, I don't
Mhm.
know how deep you've gotten into it, but
Mhm.
actually, you know what? While we're on the topic, let me show off. Let me,
Yeah,
because I
please.
was proud of that one. Let me show off
Absolutely.
my little. While we wait for this to look at that bounce, and you
Dave,
see, I had the
mhm.
level, man. Why didn't
You
you
have the
trust your
level.
level, David? Look at how it reacted. I had my box there. Why didn't you wait, David? Why? Anyways,
Hey, I
um,
will say, if anybody's watching, pounding, punching air, pounding their desk, saying, I missed it. I'm still not. This is a no trade for me right now, or
yeah.
maybe pop and then short, or maybe it just does rip, but I just don't like it. I just don't like it.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about it either. We'll see. We'll see how we react.
Like I said, middle of the range, middle of the range.
Indeed. Let me see if I could find
Yeah.
that thing for you really quick. Where is my is it that one? Terrain 12. I hope it's that one. All right, here we go. Let's
Whoa,
see. Do you
let's
see it?
go, baby. That's so cool. Okay, so this is like
So
it's like
uh,
a what do you call it? Shoot, there's a name for this kind of chart, and it's the coolest thing
no,
ever, but
it
this is way cooler.
you're talking about whoa, that's the stream, sorry. You're talking about bands. Was it somebody mentioned it yesterday? Where is it? I lost the window. Oh
I'm seeing
man.
more selling pressure here, by the way. Those top wicks rejected pretty good there.
Yeah.
It's
No, we
just
don't want to
playing
we don't
footsies with that middle of the range. Literally right where we're
yeah.
at the bottom of this 1 minute candle is the middle of the larger range, that God candle range.
Yep. Let's zoom out. Yeah, we're definitely in the middle of the range, and we're still above what I have as inflection. So, longer term, this is a bullish signal for me. So, we'll see what happens
Yeah,
in short
like I
term.
was saying, middle of the range, it makes it so hard and so easy to get married to the intraday setup and miss the
Yeah,
fact that, hey, this thing could be, yeah, just making a dramatic move into support.
indeed, indeed. Let me bring it back because I kind of lost that window there and lost my train of thought.
No
But
worries.
yeah, you were saying I think they
Oh,
call them bands or whatever.
hmm.
So the idea, so here is that first, how can I call it, strata or whatever, is price, and then next to it is
Whoa.
cumulative delta,
Okay.
and then this is like price on the 15 minute, and this is on the 30 minute. So the
Oh,
idea is, and where you see the red here are sellers, and the green is the buyers, and this is volume right
that's
there at the
so
bottom.
neat, dude.
So yeah, and you could turn them on and off, whatever. But I'm trying to see because this is like and then oh yeah, as this
Whoa.
expands, this
Oh,
is increase in volume and decrease in volume. So
dude.
I'm trying to, kind of develop a strategy based on this and have Claude analyze it in real time and kind
Yes,
of
yes.
give me trading signals based on that.
I love it,
So
man.
so yeah, man.
Me and Claude are becoming good buddies, but
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know him like that quite yet. So this is so cool. I'm gonna be picking your brain later, I think. It's very, very cool. So this is we're at the point where it's like I don't even know what my thing is building, what my Claude is building some of the time. I'm like, how did it
Yeah.
do this? So
Yeah.
so do you have any idea what platform, like, is that Python based, or is it
So
I wouldn't even know.
basically, and I'll walk you through it. So basically, Black Arrow can give you real-time data. So
Oh,
you could go there and then get real-time data and real-time data export. So you can get that into Excel. Basically, Claude told me what to do. You get that real-time data into Excel. You generate a macro from Excel. It creates a Python file that then gets
yeah. Okay.
sent to an HTML file so you can see it in the browser. Now, there's a
Beautiful.
better way to do it without going through Excel because once Excel shuts down, you lose all the data. But
Right.
that's kind of the way we're doing it for now. Hacking it out.
Yeah, no, I love this.
But yeah,
It's very interesting because this is the method that my Claude led me to as well. Very similar.
there you
I'm
go.
pulling from Thinkorswim API data through an Excel spreadsheet and then using that to read off of there. This is mean tape action here, guys. We're having big 1 minute candles that aren't sticking. I don't
Yep.
know which way this is going to break, but somebody's going to get squeezed here in the next 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna be patient on this one and wait and see what happens. Let me look at the yes, you're looking at your if you want me to pull up your chart too, by the way, I
Oh,
could do
yeah.
that.
Sorry, I'm drowning in Windows here. I was pulling
No,
up
you're
my
good.
little Excel project too, and it
No,
almost
no,
tanked
no.
my
Do
computer.
do do your thing. Do your thing, do your thing.
I'm like praying to the RAM gods here that I'm not gonna start smelling smoke in a few seconds, but
Yeah.
you never know. It could just
This
be my brain thinking too hard. Who knows?
So what we're looking at here, guys, is we had a push down to this level here. We're moving up. We're seeing a little bit of a hesitation under VWAP here on the 1 minute chart. So a couple of scenarios to watch out for. We could have, so let's again, well, yeah. Bullish action would be we move down, we form a higher low and kind of revert back up and go retest those levels. And maybe we continue to the upside, right?
Yeah.
The neutral view would be that we kind of do nothing. So we go there, maybe we retest, we do make that lower high that we're talking about, or maybe we retest this, form kind of a sort of double bottom, or even a sweep these and then, retest this, and then we just do this nasty kind of price action and never go anywhere for the rest of the day. So that
Yeah.
would be the neutral scenario. Ideally, what we would want to see is some really nice push up and a sharp rejection, off of this area right there,
Yeah.
and
That'd be
a
like
continued,
VWAP-ish.
exactly, VWAP-ish, maybe a look up and push down just like we did yesterday. That would confirm our move to the downside, and then we push lower. But like you said, we are, if I zoom out, maybe at a 4 hour chart, and let me put this cleanly. So many levels, so many things. Um, oh,
This is a decent push. And on SPY, we did kind of get a
indeed.
more valid higher low. I will say
So
that.
that is a decent push. So we might
I have
just
trust
be
problems.
pushing, we might just be pushing higher. So we'll see.
Like,
On an
yeah, middle of the
hourly,
range there.
middle
So
of the range,
there are
smack dab
bullish
in the middle of the
signs.
range.
The bullish signs would be that higher low on SPY off of the hourly and that 50% there. But again, we hit the 6.2 fib to the downside. We just tapped it to the upside now, oscillating around that 50% middle range there. And that's I think they're
Let
gonna
me
mess
pull
with
up.
people here. Oh,
Let me.
sorry.
No, no, you're fine. I'm gonna pull up your screen since you were
Sure thing.
mentioning those fib levels.
So
But yeah.
if we pull out to an hourly, we'll see this is where I'm drawing my fib range. So it's just from the low where we squeezed up and into that squeeze high there. And so then if I go back to a 1 minute here, we will see first off, I'll switch the range of the fibs so we can see that off of this intermediary point, this equilibrium, we came down, tapped the 6.2. So that put it into like the optimal buy zone for if we're going up, but then we tag the 6.2 to the upside. And this is like the optimal sell zone if we're going down. So basically, it's still undecided,
It's
you
still
know?
undecided. We need more information. We need to wait and see again, like the whole market. We're waiting and seeing what will happen, and hopefully we can get another trade in before the end of the stream. But we'll see what happens. The chat is kind of quiet. I want to know what you're doing, guys. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know.
Ooh, big
Remember
candle.
to like. Remember, yeah, we're getting a big candle there. Remember to subscribe. We are doing this for you. I'm not seeing a lot of those bubbles we were getting
Hmm.
earlier.
So those bubbles, they're definitely going to be they're calibrated so that in you usually see them in the beginning of the day,
Okay.
and it does change by time frame. So if we go to a 5 minute here, you'll see a few less. If we go to a 15 minute, yeah, we'll just see one or two, and then on the hourly, yeah, just
Yeah,
none
very.
actually. That's just a little sell signal there.
Okay.
So we shall see. For me, for my system, basically it works like level to level, right? So yesterday on the hourly, ooh, there it is. I know a little messy here, guys. I'm a messy chartist. So this staggered stepped blue or dark blue, purple, blue, whatever you want to call it, black line here. This is the hourly trigger. So we surge above it, we try to hold the back test, and then we fight for it before squeezing above. Now we're back testing it. So we are above the hourly trigger. My system says, okay, now we need to test the next one up. That'll be the 15-minute trigger, which is where we are just starting to find some sellers. So basically, on the hourly, we have support, but we do have resistance on the 15. So it's pinching between these two until we close above the hourly. I can't be bullish. I'm sorry, above the 15. Then I
Hmm.
can look for oh, my 5 is right there too. So yeah, once we get over this, then we can start being bullish. And usually that'll align right around VWAP. So it provides that confluence right there. If we get back under the hourly, then I think that we are still down until we find a real buyer because we are below all signals then. And it's just about
Indeed.
when we get oversold.
Let's see what happens there over time. We are timidly pushing up, and like Steve said, we don't really have a sharp signal there, and zooming out, we are in the middle of the range, which is
Mhm.
definitely not the place we want to be trading. But interesting
More-
thing is that reaction we got there, that move up is what I was looking for this morning. So just to kind of quickly go over the logic of the initial trade I took. Let me put the trade in. So I got in right there after this. So we had a push down. We had high volume, which to me was a signal of exhaustion. Maybe I should have gotten a bigger wick. And I was looking for, kind of a reversal back up to go retest VWAP for a quick, 50 point win there. But that unfortunately did not happen. We got stopped out. It tapped into the previous level that I had where we should have waited. And this level lines up nicely with the low volume node of the volume profile that I had earlier this morning. This is why I marked this level. This is where we came in and tested twice before.
Sorry to interrupt, Dave. Just
No, you're
heads up.
fine.
I'm trying to follow on my screen, but yours isn't up. Just in case you had
Oh,
anything
sorry.
specifically to show there for us.
Yeah, I've been showing, I thought I was
I
showing my
apologize. That's
screen
why I
the
wanted to
whole
catch you
time.
there.
You're fine, you're fine. Yeah, we're back, guys. Sorry, I was talking without showing the actual screen. So yeah, the logic behind it was this. Push down, we had increase in volume, which to me was a sign of exhaustion, and kind of entered too early there. The real entry should have been around this area here, with maybe on this engulfing candle or the second one after that, after we got a similar increase in volume, a rejection wick into this level, which lines up nicely. I have my volume profile pulled up here, low volume node here, and these were two clear buy areas in the pre-market and the day before, which is why I had this marked out. So maybe should have waited there before entering long. But hey, we paid to learn, and now we're looking at this. We're gonna see how we behave in this area because again, we are in the middle of the range. This is the exact area of the inflection point of the volume profile. So we are in the middle. We don't touch things when they are in the middle unless we get a clear signal. So we'll see what happens
For me,
and
what I'm seeing here, I
decide.
am seeing sellers where they should step in. So for me, I'm not ready to call bull or bear intraday outside of the fact that I think that if this is a bottom that we saw this morning, then we are coming down to make the higher low of a
Yep,
W type base. Yeah, exactly, exactly. So that's what I would be looking for if you're a bull here, because there's definitely a seller on the tape that just came in, especially on SPY. I'm noticing it stronger
indeed.
than Qs. Another thing I wanted to mention, Dave, this trade was so much harder on Qs. I'm not gonna lie. In terms of like that bottoming process for SPY, it showed a really nice higher low off that hourly. For Qs, see that it came down much nicer the second time.
Indeed.
Uh, yeah, right where the yellow line is, basically where it came
Yeah,
down to. Yeah, so
yeah,
that looked a lot better of a bottoming process than Qs. If I was in the SPY trade, I would have, yeah, definitely been like 1 foot out the door on that short compared to the Qs, where I think I would have been like much more willing to like, oh, that wasn't valid. It's going to come back down.
yeah.
So
No
interesting,
problem.
interesting. A little bit of divergence and relative strength in the Qs, which is bullish, and we are seeing buyers fighting for this level. So we
We
will
are,
see.
we are.
Oh, look at that!
We
Wow,
will see. There you go. Yeah, we got
buyer
that push down, kind of enticing us to get in, and we're
here.
getting back into those higher levels there. So we'll see what happens. We're getting increase in volume here.
And it's trying to reach
So
up for VWAP. It looks like it's going to, but spicy, spicy candles.
so
This is
is your speaking of
Mhm.
VWAP, because we're getting different data on our VWAPs, is your VWAP anchored to a specific area? Because I have it anchored at the beginning of the session, but
Let's
maybe let
see.
me show you
Let
where
me double
mine.
check. Where is? I'm not seeing how it's calculated in this indicator.
Oh, it's fine.
So let's see, on ES, I have roughly 665775, six
Six
six five
six
seven fifty right now, and
five
then
seven. Oh yeah, it's pretty Well, I have 6658. So yeah, it's pretty
Okay,
close.
yeah.
All right, never mind.
Yeah, well, on I do my futures trading on the broker, so I this is actually delayed data by 10 minutes on my ES on TradingView. So
Oh,
that's always
okay.
a give or
You're
take. It
fine.
should
You're
should be
fine. You're fine.
roughly, I guess, 58 now that we popped a bit.
Yeah, yeah, it's 58 now. So okay, yeah, it was probably the same. That's why I was like, okay, what's going on there? Why don't we have similar data? But it is the same, just a little
Huh.
delay there.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm
No, you're
my,
fine.
my old
Do
my
your
old
thing. Do
setups
your
and that.
thing. Do your thing.
Let's see. So yeah, we're digesting now. This is the 50% of the range we formed from today's high to low, the cash session. So again, the despite how strong this move is, I mean, I hate to say like, like I gotta give props to the bulls. This is stronger than I thought it would be off this low. But I'm just not ready to say, hey, pack it up, go long, close those hedges. Just not seeing it quite yet.
Indeed, indeed. Let's see. We're definitely at that 50%. I went back to that opening range that I had marked out for all these everybody who likes to do opening range breakout. This was a pretty good one-to-one trade. So if you just shorted the bottom there, you would have gotten exactly, those 80-ish points
Wow.
there. And then we're reacting nicely to that previous pocket there. So we're slowly looking I'm slowly considering entering that short here for my
Hmm.
second try. So we'll see. Maybe I'll put an offer somewhere around here, so
Yeah,
we can get
that would
in
be
there.
right
We'll
about
do a
a back
couple.
test of VWAP and rejection if we do get that. And I'm seeing it's so weird when you see a big sell candle, then you see a bigger buy candle reaching up to a level, and then you see another sell candle, but it hasn't printed yet. It's I mean, definitely still an indecision, but it always makes me think that maybe that was kind of an exhaustion push up.
Yeah,
The longer it hangs out up here, the less likely that seems though. So
exactly.
I
So
was, I
that's why
was liking to see a sharper
we're gonna
rejection.
we're gonna give it a little bit of time. Let's see, what time is it? 10:24. All right. Um, yeah, we're gonna give it a little bit of time, and then we'll decide from there what we want to do.
I have a question, Dave.
Yep.
When you see this kind of aggressive bid, do you think of this as poor structure, or do you think of this as like a speed boost where it's like, okay, we're not going back here, and now we're gonna negotiate at a higher level? Like, what do you see it as a sign of strength or weakness, long, like kind of going not just in the 1 minute trend, but thinking a little bit further, if that kind of makes sense?
Sorry, I got
It's okay.
lost in the
I
question. I
phrased
was
that
looking
so
at price.
poorly.
Could you
That's okay.
let me zoom
We can
out.
revisit this because it does seem like we are getting that nice
Yeah,
rejection off of VWAP there here. Sorry, I'm
I
I'm
don't want to.
sabotaging your entry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I was kind of being patient, and again, I was being too patient.
It's
I'm
tough.
gonna put an offer there.
Today is seems like a day that patience has not been rewarded so far. You could slam long right out of the gate, make money. You just
All
slam
right.
short.
I just
Oh my
slammed
goodness, what
short,
is this candle?
and
What in
yeah.
tarnation? What? Good golly, Miss Molly. Oh, that's a giant top
Oh
wick
man,
so
come
far.
on.
What just happened? All right, I gotta go look for news.
Yeah, look for the news.
What in the world are we doing? That's terrifying. For longs
What
and
is going
shorts.
on? Yeah, we're
Something
just
just
gonna
happened and it is dancing at that VWAP, deciding whether it wants to pump like crazy or die.
or
And I'm looking
die.
for.
Let's see, just when I entered, we'll put it where it needs to be. All right, we're good. All right, well, that was what I was looking for. So if this one works out, great. If not, then I've taken my two trades for you guys. And are you not entertained?
This is nothing if not an entertaining session. I will say that. Oh my goodness, this topic, if it breaks down,
I'm hoping it breaks down because that's exactly what I was looking for.
the first headline I saw when I searched Walter Bloomberg on Twitter was OnlyFans owner has died at 40. I don't. That's like that's not as big of a market breaking news.
No, I don't
I'm
think
still,
so. Let me check on my end. Usually I check on first quack. Let's see.
oh,
Iran says
senior.
talks will not occur until five requirements are fulfilled. That's probably what we're
Yeah,
seeing there.
that's absolutely what we're
All
seeing. And
right.
then
All
I'm
right.
seeing one more here too. Senior Iranian official to Reuters readers. Geez, how do you say that? Iran's initial response to the U.S. proposal not positive, but Tehran still reviewing the proposal. So buckle up, Buckaroos. If we
Okay.
lose that
Well,
candle low, we can flush pretty hard here.
yeah. And I'll
And now
probably
the way
add.
that they ran those stops, at least on SPY, that was a very violent wick, almost to the high of the day and a rejection. So they cleared a lot of selling pressure. They actually got sellers back in at 660. That's crazy.
Let's see
660
what
SPY,
happens
that
there.
is.
660 SPY. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just
Let me
watching that
take a
big level
quick.
on SPY
Let me
today.
take a quick look on the SPY. Let's
So
put a
our
5 minute
reaction to
there.
this will help us gauge risk
Oh
sentiment
wow.
going
Yeah.
into basically how much we're willing to believe Trump's talks and how much we want to pump the market and are willing to, like, basically Iran's calling BS. And
That's yeah. I think they're calling BS. I think it was to be expected. I think Trump is under a lot of pressure
yes,
from maybe lobbyists, whatever, with that oil price. I don't
mhm,
know on your side of the states, but
it's not great.
prices have
It's
risen.
not great.
Yeah, so the prices of gas have risen significantly. Oh wow, we're ticking. Okay, the tick chart is up. So okay, we're not getting that follow through
Yeah, it's
that
hanging
I
out at VWAP,
wanted.
still testing at VWAP again. I don't know. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
watching for more headlines because we might play headline racquetball where now, Trump's going to lob something back across the aisle there. Um, what I'm noticing is like why I shorted yesterday and why I was so annoyed about the overnight move. I'm like, Iran's never going to agree to these.
Yeah.
We've removed the carrot from the equation almost entirely by inflicting the damage we have already, especially to their leadership. And this is not a moral thing. I'm not saying good or bad.
No.
I'm not a fan of regimes that are anti-democracy for sure. My only point being like the art of the deal, right? There's two sides to it, and while Iran will not win a war against us, it will be very hard for us to win a decisive victory in the way that we will need to if they're really going to dig their heels in and do everything they can to keep that straight, occupied and closed for open business.
Of
So
course.
the market goes down, and then we get the ceasefire news. If I'm Iran, well, I'm probably not feeling great overall. But at this point, it's like, why not press them if they're showing a sign of weakness or at least perceived weakness?
That
So we'll
that's
see.
the thing. That's the thing. For like you said, perceive well, it is a sign of weakness. To me, it's
Mhm.
not perceived weakness. It's showing that, this wasn't planned out really well, right?
Agreed. Yeah.
Maybe, it's not what I'm it's from what I'm hearing, but a lot of people saying, okay, they thought this was going to be another Venezuela
Yep.
and
It's
quick
another
in and out, we
Vietnam. You know.
destroy. Yeah. So if I'm Iran, I'm gonna play all my cards because I'm the
Yeah.
little guy. I'm the little guy,
Mhm.
and again, I'm not pro or against anyone. We're just stating facts here.
Yeah.
If I'm Iran, we're just analyzing the situation. I would just play all my cards, and the cards right now has been the straight. Control of this, and then now if we're
That's a good
entering
pun, by the
negotiation,
way.
you
Sorry.
said what?
That was a good pun. The cards are straight. Oh,
Hey, there you go.
I
I
thought it was
didn't
intentional. I
realize it.
was going to give you props there.
No,
Okay.
no. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Sorry to
But
cut you off.
yeah, as the little guy, I'm going to play all my cards. I'm going to say, oh, you want to negotiate? These are your terms. Well, here are my terms, and I would push aggressively because you're showing me that, oh, okay, you're not as as scary as I thought you were. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think what's happening there. I think they're calling BS. I
Yeah.
think they're realizing that okay, these guys didn't plan this out really well. They don't have this all figured out, and yeah, that's
Yeah, and we gotta play rational, like game theory here, rational actor theory. We gotta
mhm,
remember they are a theocracy. It's their homeland. It has been for thousands of years, and they've
indeed.
have a long history of defending that, and going down swinging. So I I I hope for as few U.S. troops to die as possible and as few people to die as
In
possible. So I
general, yeah.
hope that we do get a resolution, but I'm having trouble seeing the path to it right now. The market
I
really wants to believe. They want to believe. It's just it's a nothing for me in the middle of the range like this with that massive wick up. My gut says down, but this market's so full of shenanigans and headline driven moves. I'm holding the hedge, and I'm so small right now. I'm trading very small.
Oh yeah, same here.
I got trust
I'm
problems.
trading like you can see it. It's not just on. I mean, on the live, yes, I do it very small because it's easier to manage. But even in my other accounts, I'm trading a tenth of what I usually trade. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it's things could go either way, and we really, I think nobody knows where we stand. Nobody knows what's going to happen next. And I think even the ones in power that are, pulling the
Yeah,
strings have no idea. So
absolutely.
we just have to wait and see.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I'm totally with you. And like you said, anybody who says they know for sure what's going to happen, unfollow them. They're not trustworthy.
yeah,
you gotta know who to trust. And the trustworthy people are saying there's a lot of unanswered questions. And
indeed.
I will reiterate, they're not necessarily saying sell SPY and don't buy it. They're saying I don't see how this plays out cleanly as the market would need it to just catch and rip in a V shape like in the April situation. We would need some big headlines, and I intentionally fade a market that needs a headline to pop, right? Because they will do what they can,
Yeah,
but
they
it's
will.
it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, and the moves are going to be big.
It
So you
is.
don't have to size big. Just catch a
Mm,
little bit.
yeah, the advice I give, keep it small, keep your losses manageable, and yeah, keep it under control
Yeah.
until things make sense, and then it's just like COVID in 2020, where you could just buy anything anywhere and it'll rip up. So,
Yeah, it'll
and
work
I
out.
still lost money, huh? You
It's
can still lose money in a bull market, but it's fine.
Oh yeah, you can. Trust me, I know. You can you'll find that regardless of the market environment, the one singular linking factor to all unprofitable traders, it's not, oh well, it's a bear market and I'm a bull trader. It's not, oh well, I'm downside bias and everything's going up. It's risk management. Like
Indeed,
it's just you gotta that if we have a god that we're praying to in the market, it's the god of risk management.
indeed,
Please
indeed.
guide my hand so I don't buy that extra lot. I don't need it.
No, that's true. That's true. You are, we published a little video the other day, and I was saying that your trading is a reflection of yourself. And once
Mm,
you kind of understand, yeah, at the beginning you need to find an edge because if you don't have an edge, if you don't have an understanding of how the markets work and stuff like that, you could manage risk all you want. You're not going to get any results. So you need to have kind of this thing, whatever that edge may be, that gives you an advantage over the market. But once you have that down, once you kind of understand how price moves and stuff like that, it all comes down to you. It's you against you, and your results are kind of a reflection of your trading results are a reflection of yourself. How what are you doing? And managing risk is definitely a huge part of that.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you think you're fighting the market, but you're really fighting yourself.
And yourself got hands. It's like it's like that meme. It's like, damn, they got hands. And that's why it's one of the hardest things because you don't get to just clock in and do your
Nope.
job and make money. You have to clock in and take a real hard look at yourself in the mirror and really like fix core character
Core
flaws.
issues,
Yeah,
indeed.
if you and it's not like, oh, I'm too eager to I'm too eager to buy the dip, to buy a knife. It's like, oh, I'm fatalistic in my life choices, and I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter if I eat junk food. It doesn't matter if I drink a bunch. It doesn't matter because X, Y, and Z. It's all or nothing. It's usually a sign of something much bigger,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
and that's why I take it so personal when I'm wrong because it's like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like,
it's like, wait, am I? I've gotten look. I could totally relate to that. There have been periods where I've questioned, a lot huge life
mhm,
choices and stuff like
yeah,
that, and really thought things over and been slightly depressed, because I could see how my mistakes in the market reflected in my real life. I could see
yeah,
how the mistakes I was making in trading were so similar. It was the same patterns that I was repeating in real life, and it kind of hits you. You know, if you're at
Mhm.
least slightly self-aware, you'd be like, "Whoa, what's going on there? And why can't I get out of this?" You know, I'll figure it out. I'll do the journaling. I'll do everything, and then you'll do it correctly for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, and then you get right back into that pattern. It makes you,
Mhm.
at least for me, question yourself sometimes, you know, and
Absolutely.
that's
Re
why I can go back to laughing, because you need to laugh. You're laughing at yourself, so you know, don't take yourself too
Absolutely.
seriously.
Dave, I love the framing. I can tell that we'd have a good time just over a beer or whatever, you
Oh
know,
yeah,
because yeah, this is this we got to keep framing this, right? We are so gifted. We are in the most most bountiful country in the world.
yep,
We are in a gifted position to be able to have the income to essentially speculate, gamble, play games, whatever you
yep,
want to call it. It's a game, it's a party. It's sure life is serious. There's a lot of bad things. I was not trying to downplay that, but
of
at
course
the end
not.
of the day, we gotta remember it's never as bad as it feels when you're in a bad trade. It's
That
never
is
as bad
true.
as it feels. It's gonna be okay, you know? And
It's gonna be okay.
often I need to tell myself that in a really bad trade when I'm like, just either I'm oversized and I'm still respecting my stop, but I didn't respect my sizing, or
Yep,
maybe I'm sized correctly, but I said, actually I'm moving my stop. Something like that. It happens every once in a while. I'm not perfect. And that's when I got to tell myself, hey, why are you doing this? What's
yeah,
up, dude?
yeah,
Things are okay. You don't have to be crazy. You don't have to be a
yeah,
psycho, chill
yeah.
out. And that
Relax.
that helps me. So,
It does.
maybe
It
that'll help
does.
one of you guys out there because this tape will make you crazy. It really will.
Man, yeah. I think I want to just get out of the 1 minute and just leave it. Yeah, put it a
I
higher
know, yeah,
time frame
I'm with you. It's like, what am I
because
gaining from watching
every
every
tick.
1 minute candle here? It's gonna do what it's gonna do. And how I'm looking at it right now is with that big air out top wick into VWAP on the news, we have a pretty clear regime of like if we surge through that top wick, I don't think we're stopping. If we cannot, basically I think the Bears are trying to put a cap on this. Like
They
it
are.
got squeezed up and they hammered it from 660. 660 is the line in the sand for me. I kind of don't really care what price does until it gets above 660 or below my hourly trigger at 656.60. And let me get those ES levels. The ES levels would be to the downside 660, 6640, give or take a handle or two, and then to the
Okay.
upside there, looking at 6680. 6640 to 6680. We're currently trading on the lower half of that range. I think that we are a little bit heavy still, but
We're a
see how
little
it
bit
plays out.
heavy.
Oh, there it
Not
goes.
not heavy. Not heavy. Nearly fast enough.
Yeah.
So yeah. Again, middle of the range. We had that little news highlight come on. But we're, yeah, bulls and bears are fighting right now, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, look,
We
red
will see
candle,
what
bottom wicket
happens.
right back up to that equilibrium. So 658, give or take. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm
Yep.
in my hedge. I'm still in my long term stuff. Anything that I haven't been stopped out of course. My most recent stop out was Micron. I took that from 395. I'll pull that up real quick. Took
Sure.
that one from 395. I bought it at open a while ago. Right there, I guess. Right here. Yeah,
Nice.
395. Uh, Trimmed half the position when it swept the high because I'm a good boy.
There you
And
go. Take that.
and this
Take.
is why you
I
do it.
call it. I call it. Take the payroll and then leave the bonus.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And you know
Yeah.
what? The bonus didn't pan out. You know what? That's okay. Is it failed breakdown to failed breakout to failed breakdown? I don't know, but I'm out at break even on the last half. It can do what it wants. I'm glad I got out yesterday at break even. It closed there, so I made
Nice.
maybe 1/4% on that last half. But
Nice.
what was it? Yeah, so 8% on the trade overall. That's a win. I don't need to get dragged by this if it is breaking
Nice.
down
Nice.
forever.
Nice. No, 8% is awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
that is a very, very respectable return. So
Well, thank you, kind sir.
props to you on that. Props to you on that. And I like how you mentioned, the rest you put at break even. Well, that answers again that question we had this morning about, hey, what do you do with your stops? Do you trail? Do you whatever? I think there's a point where it doesn't make sense for you to be in profit and let things,
Yes.
revert back and get hurt.
I love that. And how I
So
think
yeah.
about that is your risk to reward, your RR, that is completely modular with every candle you see. So if you take a 5 to 1 RR, and we're catching pretty strong there, man. I just
Yeah,
can't do
I'm
anything
about
with
to.
it.
No, it's
Uh,
fine. I'm gonna get this
so
stopped out again.
hey, there it goes. And so oh, shoot, what was I saying? I'm sorry.
No, you were talking about risk to reward, and
Right. So if I take a 5 to 1 risk to reward and it starts working beautifully, and I'm up 2 times the risk that I had established, well, it's not the same setup anymore because if it comes all the way back down, I'm giving that back. So if I
exactly,
want that same risk, I got to tighten that stop up, you know?
definitely,
So
definitely.
I don't do it just by pure like, I play the chart. So, if we do get that bottom on the 5 to 1 risk reward and it starts working, I'm up two X my risk. And then I see like any significant red candle, I'm just taking it and waiting for it to settle. And if we get a new valid, you know, high or low buy entry, for example, well, then I can take that and I have a little bit
Mhm,
of a cushion because I booked that profit already.
exactly.
Wow, SPY not chilling. Are we really gonna pump off of
No, we're
that's
gonna
crazy.
we're gonna pump off. We're gonna sweep these highs. We're gonna stop out David, and then we're gonna crash back down.
No. Yeah, quite possibly, brother. It's
It's
it's one
entirely
of
it's
those
it's
markets. But
entirely possible, but it is what
uh,
it is. So yeah, Scribble said 6660 is area's significant level. You're right. We agree there. And then we have Defiant Rascal. I like that name.
wow.
Defiant
Yeah.
Rascal saying, just wait until Trump tweets something and then hold on for dear life.
Yeah, buckle up, Buckaroo. We got a
Yeah.
wild ride. It's like,
Yeah. Where's that Trump headline when you need it
yeah,
for
can you
to
just say
smash things down?
I don't know.
War's back
It's so
on.
it's so good. I gotta check myself because it's so easy to like make jokes about it. It's like people are dying. I'm like, can we just get boots on the ground already? I don't actually want it, you guys. If I ever say something like that, I don't really want it, but I just want some action in the market. I'm a
Yeah.
human. So we're
Yeah.
just
We're
pinning
not
at this VWAP.
ill-intentioned. We're just,
No, no, no.
saying it. But I think boots on the ground. Interestingly, you touch on that. Boots on the ground is going to be very, very tricky for the U.S. I was looking at the geography
Yeah,
of Iran, and that huge wall they have,
yeah,
mountains, stuff like that. A lot of analysts saying that it's going to be a very, very difficult situation to put boots on the ground there. But if you want
yeah,
regime change, you can't do it in airplanes like they've been saying. So
hmm yeah. And
we'll see.
it's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. Like you said, it's a geographic
Geographical.
nightmare. Yeah,
Yep.
either way,
Either
it
way,
really is a
a
nightmare.
geography nightmare. There you
Oh,
go.
there we go, there we go. So it's really not a game that we want to play. I don't think.
Yeah.
There's a reason why soft power is a good thing and has been for a long time. And it works a lot better if we can work with other countries, especially when they control a bottleneck that controls 30% of so many critical resources that we need. We got to figure out how to play nice with our neighbors, It's,
Indeed, indeed.
we're
The
getting,
analogy I make is it's think of it like a playground. Like you
Mhm.
have this older kid that's I don't know 12, and
Yeah,
then you have a bunch of 5 and 6 year olds, and everybody's playing whatever, and then the 12-year-old decides to just mess everything up.
yeah,
Well, the little ones are going to get together and fight the bully. I mean, we just can't get out of it.
yeah, and
Whereas if everyone tries to play together and cooperate, things can work out.
yeah, kumbaya. And well, you mentioned a good analogy there because, bullies bully until they get punched in the face, and then they
Yes,
tend to
indeed.
chill. So I don't, I'm a patriot. I'm an American. Don't get me wrong. I
Yeah,
want
of
to see,
course.
I want to see us come out on top, but I want to see what's best for the world, which I do think is, I don't think Comini was a good guy. Don't get me wrong. Just
No, far
how
from
do we
that.
how do we
Far
do
from that.
this? Yeah, how do we do this and not crash the economy? Let's
There
let's
you go.
start there.
Let's not crash the economy. Let's not take lives for granted, and
Mhm.
see what's the best resolution there. I see a
Absolutely. We got
question
a
coming in. You were gonna say?
I was gonna say we got a question coming in. I was about to pull up
Oh
the
yeah,
gold.
there we
We're
go.
dialed in, brother.
Great minds think
Ooh,
alike.
it's strong. We are seeing relative strength to gold. I can pull up a ratio chart too. I can at least see the daily candle. So definitely big relative strength to gold compared to SPY. Oh, and look at that, bouncing off the weekly trigger. It's always funny how the system works on ratio charts. I feel like it shouldn't, but
Yeah.
so gold. This is a sign of strength, man. I guess it was the buy back at 400. Uh, I said 2 days ago I was waiting for 400 and I missed it, and then it gave it to me the next day. So I think gold. What I was telling people is that it really needs to bottom at 400 off that monthly pivot. This monthly pivot here traded 1, 2, 3 months under it before going parabolic. It looks good still. I think this is a buy long term. I think it consolidates for a few months and then in 6 months or something maybe makes new highs. Personally, gun to my head, it's still early, but the bottom of the range is in. I'd
We'll
say.
see. We'll see. Yeah. Just to touch on to give my opinion on that, and that's what we were talking about earlier to answer that question. So thoughts on oil and gold drop. So let me just I'm gonna pull up my screen real quick
Mhm.
so we can see. Let me get this out of the way. Yeah. So this is GC. So these are the gold futures. Um, this I guess when you're talking about the drop, you're talking about this. Now this is not my opinion by myself. It's, I've listened to many analysts and many people say it, and just the logic we had logically, okay, say we didn't have the war going on, right?
Mhm.
Logically, after this run up, it would have been expected to have a drop, right?
Yeah.
And strictly looking at the technicals, after we reached that previous pocket and we had a pullback, that was totally understandable, and we could have had another, second leg down before continuing up. Now add that backdrop of war, add the uncertainty. We have people that were deep in profit, probably hedging their bets and getting money out. And I've heard many talks of people saying that this is a sign of money managers pulling money out of commodities and
Mhm.
getting ready to redeploy into other assets. Call it equities, call it whatever. So that might be what explains this sharp move down. So a combination of people, it's been running up for I don't know however long. We're taking profits. We didn't continue up. We got a signal there. Let's continue to take profits. Panic exiting, margin
Mhm.
calls, all these things coming into play there. So that's for gold. Now, if we touch on oil, well, what explained that run up on oil, which was massive?
Mhm.
The last time we touched 100 was during the war in Ukraine. Well, we had that run up because of the war, literally. It's 20% of the oil supply being choked. So the laws of offer and demand. If there's less offer, and the demand stays the same, well, the prices have to go up. So that's what happened, and then panic, and you have that move up. Now, once we had talks of negotiations, and we're not fighting, et cetera, then you have that sharp move down. So as oil moves down, equities start to push back up, and we have those inverse correlations. Sorry,
Absolutely.
but yeah, when you have geopolitical situations going on, you will see those sharp, outsized moves. So that's a long-winded question, but I hope I answered you. Defiant Rascal 6214.
That's a great name, yeah. And then it's
Yeah,
it's a long answer for a great question. You need that context. So good stuff
indeed.
there. Man, Spy's so strong. It's just grinding up. It's trying to prove these headlines wrong, and I don't know how to feel about that. To me, this is a really aggressive uptrend to the point where it's gonna squeeze or it can roll pretty hard, but it's showing no signs of rolling yet. It's got a little bit of liquidity to push up into, and then I think it's going to need to make a decision, see how far the sellers can push down. So far, they've gotten zero traction. And the question is if they're waiting for this upper part of the range to take it on down, or if we are negotiating a range break up. I'm really not
We'll s-
sure.
we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll get a sweep of the lows here and that real push down that we were looking for. But we don't know. We're grinding. This is this is the situations I hate to be in when we're
Mhm.
just grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding.
Yep.
But again, if we zoom out, and we were talking about this earlier, and didn't answer your question, but you were asking me for my opinion there. If I zoom out and I look at, let me take out all of these things. Let's hide the studies. Let's just hide everything. If we zoom out, we are in the middle of this. Let me just draw a box right there. We are smack dab in the middle of this
Mhm.
range right
Yeah.
there. But edging back up towards the higher end of that, let's call it again, God candle right there.
Yeah.
So if again uncertainty fades out. We enter negotiations with Iran. The war is not going to continue. Well, you're going to continue to see, sharper moves to the upside, and you're going to see oil kind of come down. And then wait and see. And once we hear, hey, the strait is open, it's back open, well, it's going to be Rip City to
Mhm.
the upside most likely. So what are we going to see now? Well, until we get kind of a clearer picture of what's going to happen, I think we're just going to, kind of grind up slowly and then maybe grind back down and grind up slowly, grind back down. And then on these occasional news headlines and tweets and whatever you want to call them, we'll get sharp moves up or down. I'm staying pretty open minded. And then we have another thing to consider. In April, we're getting a new Fed chair, so that's
Mm.
going to be another
Man, that snuck
variable,
up on us.
huh?
Yeah, that is a big one, and that snuck up on me.
Yeah.
It's been on my radar for a while, and now it's almost here. It's like Christmas, I guess. I don't know. I like Powell, so maybe not Christmas, but it's
Yeah,
a big day,
we've
man.
kind of gotten used to Powell,
Yeah,
so we'll
data
see.
dependent, purple tie. He's a good guy. I
Yeah,
like him.
yeah, seems to be a decent
So
guy.
we will see if the next guy is just a yes man, which I figure because why else would he be there?
Why else would it be
Uh,
in that position? Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. We shall
uh,
see how it goes.
we'll
I
see.
have trouble with this the intraday trend here. It's so aggressive, and these are ones that I don't play well because it's either going to squeeze and I'm going to miss it, or I'll spend all day waiting for a breakdown that never happens, and maybe even try to take it and get stopped out. So it seems like an algorithmic bid just holding this uptrend line for now.
Hmm.
If it cracks, it could fall off pretty quickly though. So I'm keeping an eye, but it looks so strong. It's just not showing
It is
weakness yet.
strong. It is strong. They're just, I'm telling you, here's the play. They're gonna sweep. They're gonna stop me out, and then it's gonna revert back down, and then we'll just laugh
No.
about it. We'll just laugh
Yep. All
about it.
right.
Um,
Hopefully that won't be the commiseration tale next week as both. Well, you'll get stopped out for a nice win, so that's okay. That's okay. Because like we said, at some point, if you're green enough, got to lock that in before it goes back, right?
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Nice. All right.
If it does move down, and it moves down sharply, we do have to take into consideration that we could go and make a higher low there, and then just
Mhm.
because we're in a range, we might just make a higher low and revert back up and continue higher, or make another lower high and then move back down and then just have some nasty moves, and the real move might happen after market close.
Yeah, they
So these
love
are
doing
all
that.
considerations to take.
See
If
this little
this,
rise and wedge here? This is kind of what I'm watching. This structure.
let me see. Yeah, I'm seeing
Yeah.
this. This is looking mighty nice to the downside if it
Yeah.
does
Yeah.
continue. So we'll
We'll
see.
see.
Hopefully it holds. But
This is when I love to short too early, and then it blows off the top, and then so.
I'm telling you, that's good. That's what's gonna happen.
Mhm.
It's gonna wick me out and then move down. If it
See.
doesn't, I'll be more surprised if it doesn't do that than if it does.
Say
Okay,
it ain't so.
honestly. And if it doesn't do that and we get really close there and we do it sharply, I'll add to the position
I like it.
because
Well,
I'm
that's
kind
the
of
thing.
I'm looking to get out.
Mm,
At least my payroll
I
over
like it.
there in the 380s or more or less. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh no, no worries. I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, now I'm looking at the candles.
No, it's
Uh,
fine.
yeah, nothing too major. Oh, just that if we do get the breakdown, it could still just break down to 50% of this little range and form a higher
Exactly.
low, you know?
Anything
So
is possible.
I don't want to get too married to anything here. It's just holding these moving averages still. Even though it's posting top hooks, to me it looks like it wants to release pressure down, but maybe the bears get tired and it needs to squeeze up and then it can relieve pressure, maybe just down to VWAP. And then, if you're waiting for the big move down, you never get it. So we'll see. I
We'll
would
see.
like to say that this is, I would like to believe that this is a significant move down and an attempt to go up. And now we're just grinding. And if that grinding stops, this grinding upward action stops, then we could pressure release down pretty
Yeah.
fast. As just,
We'll
the other
see.
side of that is the Bears could just fumble and, have
Tell
no traction, get squeezed.
anything could happen. Tell
Anything.
Michael Noss to turn off his algos. The whatever algo he has buying right now, tell him to turn it off.
Oh no, the robot's fading us. All right, I'll put in the call. I have a
Thank you.
phone right to the pit, except for it's just Michael Noss's house. And
Thank
so
you. All right. It's slowly looking better, but it could just be what we saw here and
yeah,
sharp above,
I need like an hourly close through a level or something. At this point, it's like this grind up. I can't tap in long here.
Nah, that definitely
Can't
doesn't make
short it
sense to
yet.
tap in long either, and you can't short it. The sharp down move was my trigger, but yeah, it is what it is. And we got Defiant say deep voice on that Powell guy. He could do voiceovers when he gets out.
I would listen to
Yeah,
JPOW audiobooks. I would listen and to
yeah,
him like read me Harry Potter or something.
yeah.
That'd be
He
too
has
good.
one of those smooth, soothing voices.
Harry Potter
Like,
and the Prisoner of Modern Monetary Theory. I don't know. We could find some good names.
indeed, indeed, indeed. Well,
Hmm.
we got 2 minutes to go, guys. We will find out what happened. So two more candles. Let's rub those hands and see what
Yeah.
happens.
Give
By
me
the
give me a
way,
1% down move. Be like Birdman, rubbing my hands.
there
Give me that move.
you go. By the way, just quick reminder at 11:30 Eastern, so 30 minutes after the stream, we're gonna have a webinar on Discord about let me read the exact title, DXY trading with our super mod Daniel. So
Nice.
if you're interested, you guys can come in and watch. He's gonna talk about how he uses the DXY to guide his trades. Super interesting. He even has custom made, because he's a coder, he doesn't just vibe code, some custom made indicators there. So,
That
stop
sounds
by
awesome.
and come check it out.
Dave, I got a full day today, and I still might try to squeeze that in because that sounds so good. If
Well,
is that going to be a Discord exclusive? I would assume.
yeah, it's on Discord.
Okay.
It's on
Yeah. All
Discord.
right. So
We'll try to record it, but yeah, it's going to be on Discord.
yeah, be sure to check that out. That sounds awesome. Dixie's a great thing to keep an eye on, especially nowadays because it's
Yep.
a very pivotal in this whole geopolitical thing. The whole oil trade definitely provides stability to the petrodollar, and that is going to be what the dollar needed to hold the line because it was. I'll pull it up real quick. That monthly chart was so fun to watch. Let's
Huh.
see. So it is in this big old pattern,
Yep.
this big old consolidation. And I was watching for a big old breakdown. Months and months, it looked so heavy into it. Then bottom
And
wick, and
then
now
we
we're
bottom.
rallying pretty good. So still,
Indeed.
still the big 100 level though.
Yeah.
Big
We'll
100. So
we'll
that's what I'm
see how we
watching.
we'll see how we react there, because that'll come up to that those three resistance dips you had there before. But anyways.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, you're fine. You're
I'm
fine.
getting
You're
ahead of
fine. You're fine. You're
myself.
fine. You're fine. All right. Well, we have reached the time. I don't know if you have some wise last words, but I'm just gonna say I will see you guys on Discord. Oh,
My my
reacted
my wise
nicely.
words are short it to zero. No, trade safe out there, guys. Trade small. And Dave, thank you so much for having me on again. It's always a
Thank
blast.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. Great. Great to have you too. See you soon.
Sounds good. Take care, guys.
All right. Take
Bye.
care. Bye.